Yeah, I just logged out. Sorry, I got a Facebook message and somehow it logged me out. But it says you're all still there. Okay.
It's stop. It's stop.
It stopped and then
No, it's reloaded.
it's coming back. Yeah. So do you have any other questions? Or it's getting late for you and you need to go to sleep
It's early.
to get up early, right? Guess I shouldn't. I don't know. Somehow or before I was able to go into Facebook messages, and now I messed it up.
There's another question.
I don't see the question. What's the question?
Si Darmida said, what should be priority in sadhana? Chanting, reading, hearing, or
Oh, very good question. So what's the priority? Chanting, reading,
hearing,
hearing,
puja. Puja.
puja. Yeah. First priority is 16 rounds. I know some devotees, they have elaborate puja, and their rounds suffer for it because they're doing their puja before work, and it limits the time they can have for their japa. And so I generally advise people that then you can minimize your puja. But then I had some doubt that I answered that question properly. So then I asked Jananivas, I said, this is how I answered the question, do you think that's the right answer, right? I said, focus on your japa and minimize your puja if it's becoming problematic or getting in the way. And he said, yeah, that's the right answer because at initiation your vow was 16 rounds. It wasn't for puja. Puja, of course, helps you. But your first principle was 16 rounds. So that's my personal experience. 16 rounds is utmost importance. And so, at least what I feel is if you're going to minimize something, it shouldn't be your japa. That's the thing. That's what you vow to do at initiation. Of course, you don't want to minimize anything, but don't minimize your japa. That's a big mistake. And people who like to read a lot or like to do a lot of puja sometimes that will cut sufficiently into their japa time, and then their japa will be done the rest of the day, trying to fit it in here and there, and it won't really be good japa, and that will affect them. Any other questions? I just opened up a new window, so I'm not getting the old questions.
Do you want to read?
Yeah. No, you can read it to me.
Okay. Eddie said, my fiancé said me that it is necessary for a good couple that you make the 16 rounds. This is going to give us the force in our relationship. That's true?
She's saying to have a good relationship, the husband and wife should both chant 16 rounds. Is that true, that 16 rounds makes a good relationship? I wish it were true. That would be an easy way to make a good relationship. We could write a relationship book and only have one page in it. So how to have a good relationship. Chapter 1, page 1, chant 16 rounds. Chapter 2, chant 16 rounds. Chapter 3. But unfortunately we don't have that experience. In fact, some people who chant 16 rounds become very detached. So the chanting of 16 rounds inspires them to get out of the relationship. I hate to blow your bubble, but I'm trying to be honest. So yeah, we should chant 16 rounds, and if we chant together, pray together, things are good. But sometimes if your chanting is really good, you become completely detached and you don't even care about the relationship and you just want to take sannyas. There's a story, I think it was Vishwanath Chakravarti talk, where he was like neglecting his wife. So his guru said, he never slept in the same room with his wife. He said, no, you have to sleep in the same room, same bed with your wife. So he had to obey his guru. And so he sat there or laid there next to her and he just stayed up all night chanting japa. So, so I know you expected the answer to be yes, but I didn't want to give the yes answer because yes wouldn't be entirely true. Because sometimes chanting 16 very good rounds could detach both people to such a degree they don't even want to have the relationship. So it's a lot more than just 16 rounds, because the spiritual side of your relationship is one aspect of it, and sometimes it's not the most important, because you can have very good sadhana, be good devotees, and have a horrible relationship. And we've seen that many, many times. Really, good sadhakas, mangalartik, everything, and just very bad relationship skills. So I think, equally, if not more important, or at least we can say equally important, are your ability to relate well. So that's a very good question, and I hope that answer didn't shock you. And I know in Ecuador, if you tell your friends the answer to that question, they'll also be shocked, and they'll think that I must be smoking marijuana. But how could I give an answer like that? But I think sometimes we think spiritual practices will solve material problems when they don't. So, is it okay if I drink cyanide, but if I chant 16 good rounds will I live? Maybe if you're Prahlad Maharaj, and you offer the cyanide to Krishna, and you have faith that it's prasadam. But generally the cyanide will kill you, 16 rounds or no 16 rounds. So I think we need to look at things that way. There are material laws of relationships, and we also have to enact them. So if you're acting well within those laws of relationships, and you're chanting 16 rounds, then it means materially and spiritually you have a good relationship. Another question. In terms of work, should we be focusing on finding work or creating work which enables us to be more Krishna conscious? That depends on you. Because if you have more of a Brahminical, Kshatriya, Vaishya nature, then your nature will be that you can create work. And if you can, that's great, because if you can create work, you can create your own hours, in theory. Sometimes you create work, and then you create more work for yourself, because sometimes when you start your own business, you're really working hard. But if you, I'm not saying this in a derogatory way, but if you have another nature, which is more the Shudra nature is more, it's easier for you to be employed and serve than create your own business. And so if you have that nature, it'll be hard to create your own business or your own service that would bring in money, because you would just prefer to work for somebody. That would be your comfort zone. So if you can create your own income where you're not dependent on others and not bound and stuck to be working long hours, that's great. That's the Brahman. The Brahman is liberated. So I would recommend that if you can do it. But if it just causes you anxiety and you can't do it, what's the point? Right? So this brings up the question that like sometimes something's good. You say, yeah, that would be good. I could create my own business, make some money online, or teach some classes or whatever. And then you try it and it doesn't work because it's not your nature. And then it just puts you in anxiety. And poverty also. So you have to understand something about your nature. So, maybe you're working a job and it's long hours. It's not ideal perhaps for your sadhana. But then you realize that I couldn't do anything else, so then you become more satisfied. You know what I mean? It's just, well, this is all I can do. So now, if I can work for a devotee, that could be good. Although you want to make sure the devotee's business is stable. If you can do that, that's nice. It can be nice. Yes. What else? Any more questions? Comments?
Personal comments.
Let's hear the comments. We're reading your comments now. Why don't you give me the computer?
Yeah.
I will read your comments. And maybe I will comment on your comment. The more my husband becomes attached to chanting and sadhana, the more he becomes less attached to the household. Watch out. Maybe you should tell him don't chant for a few weeks. Come down. It's actually, I said that kind of jokingly because it's true. But in the perfect world, the more he chant, the better the husband he would be. But as younger devotees, we tend to get detached in maybe an unbalanced way. I heard some devotees say that chanting on a clicker or the mind is okay. It's okay then on the beads. I argue with them because I feel it's not right. I feel chanting 16 rounds on beads is important. And after your minimum 16 rounds, clickers are okay. So, the question is, to click or not to click? Well, it doesn't matter what I say because the clickers are going to click and the non-clickers are not going to click. But I want to comment on chanting in the mind because Prabhupada said chanting in the mind is reserved for very advanced devotees and didn't recommend it for us. And I think generally for us, chanting in the mind would take place if we're ill and we just don't have the energy to speak. But personally, I don't chant on a clicker. And so Kim missed the response. I said in a mature state, the more your husband became Krishna conscious, the better a husband he would be. In a more immature state, the more he becomes Krishna conscious, the worse a husband he'll be. That's my experience. Because I've been on both sides of the coin, a very immature Krishna conscious husband whose wife was not happy with him, and I've been a very mature Krishna conscious husband whose wife is very happy with him. So I know what it's like to be both, and I can say that chanting does detach us, but it's not meant to detach us in a way that we don't become good husbands or wives. How to make a distinction between knowing your nature and creating a new belief system, then you can create any work you want. It would be extremely difficult. Well, you wouldn't want to create a belief that you have a nature that you don't, because that nature it's ingrained within you, and it wouldn't make sense to create a belief system that goes against that, because it wouldn't serve any function other than probably to create confusion and frustrate you. For example, in other words, you want to create beliefs which are in alignment with the reality. It's like saying, I know I can't fly, but what if I jump out the window with the belief that I can fly? That would be like going against your nature. Well, you're not a bird, so to believe you can fly goes against your nature. So belief shouldn't go against nature. In fact, Krishna says you should act according to your nature. So you want to develop beliefs which will expand or support or empower your nature. And it may not be your nature to develop a business that's going to be franchised around the world, but that's okay. You're a Brahmin, So you want to teach. So you teach, and whatever money you get, you're happy with. You live on that. But if you're a Vaishya, then you're not happy unless you're making a few $1,000,000 a year, right? And if you're a Vaishya, you don't care what you sell. As long as it makes money, you just sell it. Isn't it? That's what Vaishyas do. If this business doesn't work, they get into another business. They're not concerned so much. But Brahmins they're concerned about being more, earning their money teaching. So if your nature is to be a Brahmin, then to believe that you could be a Vaishya, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't make sense because it's against your nature. So you don't want to believe in something that's not what you are. But within your nature, then beliefs that of your, say, if you feel you're limiting because of lack of self-confidence, then believing that you can be better at what you do, that would be helpful. So I think it's important to recognize your nature. And if you go to Ustream, then we've given 4 classes. 2 of them are up, and then 2 will be up soon. Once, if I can get my computer to work, it'll be up. 2 classes about our nature and how to understand your nature. But I think I might have told you before that one of the things that I've seen, which is quite sad, is that especially people trying to become wealthy, and it's not their nature, they're just not Vaishnavas, and they read books on wealth building, and they go to seminars on wealth building. It's just disappointing and frustrating for them, because it's not really in their blood. Obviously they can do better than they're doing presently if they learn how to run a business better. But to have the energy that you need to develop a successful, large-scale business, they don't have it because it's not their nature, and that's why it doesn't happen. And for it to happen, they'd have to hire people who have that nature. So you could say, listen, this is my idea. This is my idea. Make my business work. So that could work. But if it's not your nature, then you have to focus on what your nature is. Like Steve Jobs' nature was good in advertising. It was good in creating products. But he wasn't good in developing them. That wasn't his background. So he had to get people that could develop them. Chris, does that make sense? Okay. Tell us what means a good bond. A good round. When you finish a good round, you want to go to the next round. When you finish a bad round, then you say, That's how you say that, or you feel that. You just feel like you're just doing it out of duty, not really relishing it. And Eddie, if you start relishing, you might chant more than 4 rounds. You might get up early, you're getting up early already. But rounds increase according to how much you relish them. So Kim, tell your husband, her husband's name is Jason. We also call it Jai Singh, because in India, if you say your name's Jason, they'll say, oh, Jai Singh, nice name. That the more Krishna conscious he becomes, the better the husband will be. And I named him White Trash. And tell him I want to change his name to White Nectar. So he has to act like White Nectar instead of White Trash. Yeah, it's important. Don't try to act against your nature. It just frustrates you like anything. It's, all these people trying to become rich, and it's not their nature. They're not going to be rich, and they just get frustrated. Something's wrong with me. I'm not rich. My neighbor's rich. What's going on? And they could be like these amazing people with all these amazing qualities and amazing abilities, and that they're not employing in what they should be doing. So it's just it's actually disgusting to see that. But that's what our society is breeding. That, your value is in terms of the label on your shirt or your dress or on your watch. Look at this watch I have. It's a Casio watch. I'm a nobody. This watch costs 250 rupees. Can you get me that other watch? It's right there, that swatch. You see it? On the shelf there? You see the watch on the left?
Where is this?
I was doing corporate work, and this devotee who felt sorry for me, he said, you have to wear this watch. Because if you wear this watch, people will think you're a loser. If you wear this watch probably costs $500. If you wear this watch, they'll think you're the man. So that's how our society works, right? That you are your watch. You are the label on your shirt. The polo, the Gucci, whatever. Yeah? So, and so many people suffer. I feel so bad for people because they suffer from that, because they're actually great people and qualified to do so many things. You know, and there was even a point in our society, maybe in the early 70s, where you want to be a mother and take care of kids, and people think, like, what's wrong with you? Now, you want to hear how bad society is? Now, people are telling me, if a girl in high school or college hasn't had sex, everybody just like won't talk to her. They think she's something wrong with her. You can't even be friends with people. I mean, it's horrible, isn't it? So Kim says, the more I advance in Krishna consciousness, the better wife I shall be too. Not necessarily. Maybe, and maybe not. Well, you may advance in Krishna consciousness. Yeah. I mean, in theory, the answer is yes, but in practice, you may advance in a way that Krishna consciousness advancement is really weird. Because sometimes, you're chanting really good rounds, and the result of chanting really good rounds is you become puffed up, and you think, I'm really Krishna conscious, and my husband isn't. So then you give him a hard time. You see how things, because like you can be Krishna conscious, and then it hits your conditioned nature, and it makes you're advancing, you're chanting good rounds, but now it's making you proud. And it could make you even intolerant. How can I tolerate this guy? He sleeps late, I get up early, I'm so Krishna conscious, he isn't. So you're becoming more Krishna conscious, and you're becoming more Krishna conscious is making you less Krishna conscious. Isn't that interesting? That's like, that sounds like a perfect Kali Yuga scenario. The more Krishna conscious you become, the less Krishna conscious you become. So that's why I was saying two people could be chanting 16 rounds and have a bad relationship, or you could be having a bad relationship and being a good devotee. As weird as that sounds. That sounds weird, right? It is, but I'm just, you know me, I'm just trying to be, I don't want to preach philosophically in a way that doesn't relate to what's really going on. And so that's what I'm doing. So I don't want to say philosophically something that's wrong. At the same time, I don't want you to misunderstand it. But philosophically, it's right to say, yeah, the more Krishna conscious you become, the better a wife you'll become. But sometimes your Krishna consciousness can make you proud, and then you don't become a better wife. Yeah, that's, yeah, so your husband's becoming Krishna conscious, and then he might be thinking what's wrong with you, rather than he should be thinking, okay, I should, be kinder, more compassionate, and so forth. The battery's going. Okay, a special message from our producer. The battery is low on my camera, so if all of a sudden I just disappear, then you know why. But we're about ready to end. I kind of get the sense. Yeah. I'm hungry though. Okay, we'll end in 5 minutes because I have to eat. I'm starving.
And you have to go to the Ganga.
Oh, I was supposed to meet somebody. Okay. All right. Okay, yeah. All right. So one last question and we'll go. What is the difference between chanting rounds and chanting in kirtan? Rounds are private, kirtan is social. So it's kind of like the difference between going with your husband on a date and going with your husband to a party. The date is private, the party is social. You'll still be with him, but it's not private. Kirtan requires less effort to get ecstasy. Japa requires more. You're getting the energy of all the devotees in the kirtan. So we need both. One benefits the other. Okay. So, thank you all for coming. And we're going to stop now because I have a feeling we could go forever or for many lifetimes. And we'll see you next. I think we're going to see you next Monday for a different class. We're doing a different class. And then this class for women will be in a month. Thank you very much. And these classes will also somehow or other, we'll get them up on Ustream. And I've recorded this also. See this little mic? So that will go on our website if you want to hear it again. And one thing I've found is that if you hear a class again, you'll realize there are things you didn't hear or didn't understand. Okay? Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, and we'll see you all in Cape Town in May, I guess, and in Australia. We're going to see, maybe August. Who knows? Yeah. Or I'll be in Argentina. Maybe I'll just pop over from Argentina to say hello. Okay. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Go Premanandi, Hari Hari. Okay. This doesn't want to stop. Maybe Krishna wants us to continue. It doesn't want to stop. Maybe I can't stop it. Look at that. Okay, we're going to try to stop it, everyone. Hari Bol.